Parents must not pay maternity extra charges to access free childcare, the government says. We're going to read into this more from Sky News, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here, an article from Sky News with a headline that parents must not pay maternity extra charges to access free childcare, the government says. The updated guidance says a local council should intervene if a childcare provider seeks to make additional charges a condition for parents accessing the hours. This is incredibly frustrating for the providers here. Extremely frustrating, and for what's going to happen as a direct result of this, if they're not already happening, the fees for those who pay for childcare already in some of these places, who are already paying, are going to be paying more as a direct result. You may not pay extra charge for some of them who obviously still get the free childcare. There are many cases where there are certain areas, certain providers who will not increase their space for free childcare because they get no benefit out of it, because they don't get anything from it. And a relative of mine, someone I know who is in childcare, is extremely frustrated because obviously for her and people that she works with, it's incredibly stressful. The government are making things more difficult. Now, I'm all for giving children the childcare that they need so that parents are able to go back to work. But hanging these providers out to dry does not solve the problem. They don't have free money. Not all these providers have unlimited loads of money, ready to spend. Excuse me. They just simply don't. And the government is expecting them just to cough up. And what's going to happen is that those who pay into childcare, those who are paying into childcare, are going to have to pay more. This benefits no one, because it means that some childcare providers are going to shut as a direct result as well. Everything costs money. The costs have to come from somewhere. And the government are not helping these providers. They've got to come from somewhere, and the government are not being clear about this. It's absolutely just frustrating. It's really, really frustrating, guys. So parents who are entitled to hours of free childcare should not have to pay maternity extra charges to secure their nursing place, the government has said. So updated guidance for the Department of Education states that while nurseries are entitled to ask parents to pay for extras, including meals, snacks, nappies and sun cream, these charges must be voluntary rather than mandatory. And they're just not going to take these people on. The providers will just not take these people on. They will take as minimum of these as they possibly can, and take as many paid childcare as they can. That's what these childcare providers will do. They will try to take on and they will charge abundance for them because they're expecting these providers to literally have money out of their back pocket. The guidance, which comes amid concerns that parents have faced high additional charges on top of funded hours, also states that local council should intervene if the childcare provider seeks to make additional charges a condition for parents accessing the hours. Since September last year, parents and carers with children aged 9 months or older have been entitled to 15 hours of government-funded childcare a week, rising to 30 hours for 3 and to 4-year-olds. From this September, the 30 hours of care will be made available to all families. This was a rollout first introduced under the Conservatives. However, there have been concerns that in order to subsidise shortfalls in funding, nurseries have charged parents extra for essentials that would normally be included in fees. Yeah, because they need the money. Money needs to come from somewhere. Under the new guidance, nurseries will now be obliged to clearly set out additional costs parents will have to pay, including on their website. It says involved should be itemised so parents can see a breakdown of the free entitlement hours, additional private paid hours, and all the additional charges. Representatives of childcare providers welcome the announcement, but pointed out that the financial stress that nurseries were under. Neil Lynch, the chief executive of the Early Years Alliance, said, while we fully agree that families should be able to access early entitlement hours without incurring additional cost, in reality, years of underfunding have made it impossible for the vast majority of settings to keep the doors open without relying on some form of additional fee or changes. As such, while it is absolutely right that providers should be transparent with parents on any optional additional fees today's guidance does absolutely nothing to address or even acknowledge the fundamental financial challenges facing the sector. This is the crux of the problem here. They're ignoring the problem and they're just expecting these providers to just cough up the money. They're not going to. Either people are going to have to pay more, or they're going to go bust. It's got to be one of the two. That's they can't look after children for free. People need to get paid. He added that given that from September, government will control a price of around 8% of early years provision, it has never been more important that the funding for genuinely reflects the true cost of delivering places. And yet we know in many areas this year's rates increases won't come close to mitigating the impact of April's national insurance and wage rises, meaning that costs for both providers and families are likely to spiral. Yeah, that's gonna that as well. In last year's budget, Chancellor Rachel Reeves announced that the amount businesses will pay on their employees' national insurance contributions will increase from 13.8% to 15% from April this year. She also lowered the current 9,100 threshold. Employers start with paying national insurance on their employees only to 5,000 in what she calls a difficult choice to make. Last month, a survey from the National Day Nurseries Association, the NDNA, found that the cost from increases from April will force nurseries to raise fees by an average of 10%. 10% increase. That's insane. The survey covered nurseries in England revealed that staffing costs will increase by an average of 15%, with respondents saying that more than half of the increases was due to the national insurance decision in the budget. Pramila Tabu, CBE chief executive of the NDNA, said taking away the flexibility in providers around charges could seriously threaten sustainability. The funding government pays to providers has never been about paying for meals, snacks or consumables. It is to provide early education or care, she said. Childcare places have historically been underfunded with a gap widening year on year. And from April, the operating costs of the average nursery will go up by around $47,000 once statutory minimum wages and changes to the national insurance contributions are implemented. NIC changes have not been factored into the latest funding rates, further widening the underfunding gap. The Department of Education said its offers to parents meant that they could save up to $7,500 on average while using the full 30 hours a week of government-funded childcare support, compared to if they were paying for it themselves. In December, the government announced that a £75 million expansion grant would be distributed to nurseries and childminders to help increase places ahead of the full rollout of funded childcare. Local authorities' allocations for the expansion grant will be confirmed before the end of February. Some of the largest areas could be provided with funding for up to $2.1 million. They're not seeing the problem. They're not seeing the problem, or they're just choosing not to deal with it, the government. This is not going to work. I know relatives in this industry. This is not going to fix the problem. It's only going to make things worse. It's already tough enough for these providers. And the government are sitting on their hands on this. They should have rolled this back. I understand. They should have rolled the Conservatives' pledge back. I understand about getting more people back into work. I understand that. I really, really do. But you cannot expect providers to provide everything for free, completely. It's just they don't have money out of their hats. You've got to give something to them, and clearly the government are not thinking about this in the short term or the long term. Providers are going to go under, and you know what that means again? It means that more children could be spending time with their grandparents. Even more than ever, because they can't afford childcare, because it's going to cost too much. This is only going to exacerbate it, not fix it. But what do you guys think? What do you guys make of the situation around childcare? Do you agree with the government? Do you think the government's knows what they're doing on this? I don't think so, but maybe you disagree. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. If you found this video informative or helpful in any way to you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. And do check out the Rumble and Patreon content down below as well. And if you want to financially support me, hit that join button to join the YouTube membership for as little as 99p. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.